Saw paediatrician Dr. Ranj in Kathy's report. He's with me now. And Rachel Burrows is here as well from Netmums. They carried out the survey for 5 News Tonight. Good evening to you both. What do you think about the results, Rachel?
Well, obviously there's always going to be, parents trying to get shortcuts to parenting, but, it's worrying results that people are actually being, driven to methods like this. Some
shortcuts are acceptable, but not all. Have you ever done this with your kids?
No, I admit that I haven't actually thought about doing it with my children, but my last flight was when my child was 1.5 years old. Actually, it was 2 years ago. I haven't actually flown yet. She's
just put you off,
the whole time.
Okay.
It was the last time we actually went abroad. So, you can see how parents can get to desperate measures. And I mean, the thing they're most worried about, really, from the study, is actually what other parents and what other people on the flight are thinking.
Yes.
And that was a big thing in my mind.
We'll get onto that in just a second. But Ranj, is there ever any way for people to safely sedate their kids if they choose to, if their kids are in some sort of distress in a situation, for example?
There is no safe way to sedate your children. No, there isn't. There are other methods to calm your children. Do activities with them, play the music, whatever it requires to soothe them. You can soothe them, but sedating carries risks. And sedating with medication itself, especially when you're relying on a side effect of that medication rather than its intended use, does carry inherent risks. Yes, these medicines are generally safe. Yes, we use them in lots of other situations, but that's where they're medically indicated.
Because the thing is, plenty of adults, plenty of parents will give themselves something to, perhaps have a bit of a sleep on maybe a long-haul flight and think it's a normal thing to do, an acceptable thing to do.
Absolutely. It's not unusual to use antihistamines for you and I to cause drowsiness, to aid sleep. But we must remember that the incidence of side effects in children is much greater than adults, especially in the under-2s.
Not just the side effects, but perhaps bringing in medication and its general use in too soon in a young child's life, right?
Well, we use medicines like this for particular reasons in children, and we consider the risks, and we do a risk assessment as to whether the benefits outweigh the risks. And in the vast majority of cases, that indication is perfectly okay. But it's when people do it at home without having that knowledge of what may happen, and you might end up in a situation where you have a serious side effect and you're in the middle of the air on a long-haul flight. That's not really where you want to be.
Let's get back to coping mechanisms, Rachel. I know Ranj said playing music, pretty difficult on a long-haul flight when you're 36,000 feet in the air. What can people do? What are they saying on Netmums about ways of coping?
I mean, first of all, do you actually need to be on a long-haul flight when you've got toddler and babies? Maybe that's something for when they're
grandma and grandpa in Australia, for example.
Well, they can come to you.
They could, yes, and they can sedate themselves if they like.
Yeah, on flights, maybe start collecting little things that you can kind of surprise them with, new toys, take a lot of snacks, take them for walks up and down the plane.
I guess the thing is, I mean, you touched upon it before, it's not usually the parent or the child who's the problem, it's those other people tutting away, and it is just excruciating. Any parent's been through that. So perhaps there should be some sort of a wider campaign so that other people know who don't have children just how difficult it is having them.
Maybe generally we just need to be a bit more understanding, I think, of other people. I've been one of those people that has tutted in the aisles.
You haven't. You're a paediatrician.
But I also understand how difficult it can be. So I am by no means, envious of parents that have to go through this.
We'll win people over one by one, starting with you, Ranj. Thank you both very much indeed. Good to see you.